Right guys, what is going on? The BusterBarnes here, bringing you my recap / review of Chelsea's 2-1 win away at Rennes in the Champions League. We have now officially qualified to the round of 16, which is very nice to hear. I believe the first team to actually do so in the competition, although I believe Sevilla secured their qualification just a little bit after us. We still have that tricky game against them, so the group is not won yet, but getting through at this point is definitely reassuring. But I won't be getting into that Sevilla game now. We will be talking about our win in France, and if you guys do enjoy these recaps and reviews, please be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you thought of the game, and as always, be sure to subscribe for more Chelsea FC content. In this video, I'm going to be giving you guys my player ratings and going through a rundown of the game in general, also adding to my player of the season point scoring system as well, which should prove to be interesting. If we are going to go straight into the game, however, we did see a 4-3-3, not that similar to the team that I predicted to face Rennes. I thought Lampard would probably rotate a bit less, as we did have quite a fair few days between this and the Tottenham game, but apparently we were going to see a little bit of rotation. It wasn't actually Werner that got rotated like I predicted for Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi did start, but it was for Hakim Ziyech, so Hudson-Odoi was deployed on the right-hand side. We did see Jorginho starting that deep role over Kante, which is completely fine by me. I did think Kante would start, but the fact that he hasn't doesn't really hurt too much, as he probably does need the rest, and we want to make sure that he is fully fit. We did also not see Kai Havertz start. I thought we might do, but I'm guessing his fitness probably still isn't quite there, obviously with the 2 weeks off due to COVID, so Mount did start. We also saw Cesar Azpilicueta start over Reece James as well, which, I mean, probably the best fullback cover you can get in terms of Cesar Azpilicueta, so that was completely fine by me. And when the match did get underway, the first 20 minutes or so, we completely dominated. Werner missed a very early chance where he probably should have scored. I'm not sure if the ground was bobbly or not, but he was basically about, I don't know, 5 or so yards out, and then just completely skied it over the crossbar, so that was not great to see. He did not have the best game by any means. I'm not sure if he was tired though, and he wasn't subbed off until the 90th minute, which I thought was absolutely crazy. I thought that he definitely looked a bit fatigued, so hopefully this day off and this bit of a rest before Tottenham will do some good for him. So I'm a bit confused as to why Lampard did keep him on. That was really my only concern of the game, really. But after we did go 1-0 up, we just sort of took our foot off the pace a little bit. Rennes did start to get back into the game. They didn't necessarily create any amazing clear-cut opportunities, but they were maybe, having a few shots, testing Mendy a little bit, not too much. And after we scored that goal, we just didn't really look like scoring that much. And when we did go 1-0 up, I've got to say, it was an immaculate ball by Mason Mount. Absolutely amazing. People, rag on him and say, things about his game, that he's only just, a presser. But, I mean, he's only 21 and his game is developing all the time. And that pass, that perfectly weighted pass through to Callum Hudson-Odoi, who got himself on the score sheet, which is great to see. Hudson-Odoi has not started the game for us in a while. I believe his last start was probably against Krasnodar, where he scored as well. So 2 goals in the Champions League for Hudson-Odoi is not too bad for him at all. And hopefully we can see more of the same. I mean, the goal was... he looked lively and he looked effective. I'd say the goal was obviously his best moment, but he was starting to take players on, make some good runs with the ball at his feet as well. So I do think that slowly but surely we are seeing Callum come back into his groove, and hopefully maybe midway through the season we can see him playing a little bit more. Obviously though, competition is very high in these places. But when we did get to the second half, it was more of the same really. Rennes was sort of still maybe dominating a bit more than we'd like, and Ben Chilwell, I have to say, did have a few errors where maybe he wasn't communicating properly with the defence. I did think the defence performed well as a whole, but Ben Chilwell making 1 or 2 mistakes where he maybe was just switched off a bit. He could have been tired as well, as him and Werner have played a lot of games over the season so far. But I'd say that he probably looks the sketchiest out of our defenders in this game. In the second half as well, there was a really big chance that came when they got a header through, and Mendy had an instinct reaction save, and the ball was actually still going to go in, but he used his foot to flick the ball back into his hands. It was actually pretty good from the goalkeeper. Whether it was intentional or not, I'm not too sure, but he definitely got tested a little bit more in the second half and had to make 1 or 2 fairly decent saves, but it wasn't actually enough to deny Rennes scoring, guys. They did score an equaliser in about the 83rd or so minute when I believe believe it was a corner, was crossed in, and yeah, just a bullet header fired it past Mendy. He couldn't really do much about it. I don't know if it was to do with the amount of subs that had come on, because one thing that I did note throughout the game was when it came to defending set pieces, Tammy Abraham was absolutely elite at covering the near post. He was getting in the way of shots, he was making sure that he headed the ball clear, and that was the same with Azpilicueta as well, really just showing how much warriors they are. And I'm not sure if the amount of subs maybe I guess sort of scuppered our tactics when it came to defending set pieces or not, but either way it was just a great header from Rennes, so you can't really complain too much. I did know that this game was going to be harder than it was the last time we faced them, so you know, it was a bit disappointing though, and with 6 minutes to go, it looked like this was going to end a draw. And I mean, Sevilla did end up winning their game as well, so we could have actually not qualified yet for the Champions League round of 16. However, in the 90th minute, guys, we did go through. The ball was passed through to Werner. Werner shoots. It was parried by the goalkeeper. The ball flew into the air and it came down. There was about 4 Rennes defenders there waiting to clear it, but of all of them, Olivier Giroud rose like a salmon into the sky and headed the ball past the goalkeeper. I think it went off the crossbar and in, or it hit someone that bounced down and hit the roof of the net, and that was enough to win the game. The 91st minute, Olivier Giroud, a guy who the journalists have been talking about a bit lately as well, as a lot of them are saying, oh, he wants to leave, Lampard's not playing him that much. Lampard actually said in his conference that he sees Olivier Giroud having a big part in the squad, and I mean, what better way to back that up than him scoring the winner in this game? Absolutely awesome stuff. I jumped out of my seat. I truly had accepted that we were drawing this game, but Giroud came out of nowhere, and yeah, if I was Rennes, I'd be very disappointed, especially with the defenders. The defenders should have probably cleared that ball, but you can't take away from Giroud's tenacity and his drive to get the ball in the back of the net. And what a crucial goal that could be. And hopefully we can carry on this now to beat Sevilla and finish top of our group. We actually haven't got through the round of 16 the last 4 times we've been in it, apparently. So that's an interesting stat. Hopefully that will not be the case come this season. But either way, that was the game. So yeah, it was really just a tale of different sections. I mean, the first 20 minutes we looked amazing, like we were going to score loads of goals and batter Rennes. But then pretty much the rest of the game, or I should say probably the next, I guess 60 minutes, Rennes were really fighting us and we were not switched on at all. But in the last 10 minutes after Rennes scored the equaliser, we seemed to finally decide to switch on and start playing football. And yeah, I actually did think that Giroud and some of the subs that were made were good ones. Kante has always had loads of energy. Ziyech made a few chances when he came on as well. So I do think the subs definitely helped us with a bit more energy when the team maybe looked a bit tired. And yeah, luckily it was enough for us to get the win. But like I said, let me know what you guys thought of the game in the comment section down below. Okay, so getting into my player ratings for this game, I'm going to be giving Eduardo Mendy, the man returning to his former club, a 7 out of 10. Now, he didn't get the clean sheet, obviously, which would have guaranteed him a 7, as I do that with my defenders. As you guys know, a 6 is like the base sort of, he did okay, or he did as expected rating in this series. But I believe Eduardo Mendy deserves a 7, just from that really good save that he made when the ball was fired straight at him. He parried it and then he flicked the ball up with his foot back to catch it in a very high pressure moment. He also, caught his crosses. He made some other sort of more standard saves as well. But the thing is we say standard saves, would they have been standard saves if Kepa or Caballero made them? I'm not too sure. I do think that maybe we're going to potentially be getting into the territory though where we see some people maybe say that he had better performances than he did, just because we're still comparing him to Kepa and Caballero. But he still had a very good performance. A 7 out of 10 is nothing to be found at. It's definitely not the lowest rating that I'm going to give in the starting 11. And I think he definitely performed well, and especially going back to his club, who really he made a name for, before joining Chelsea. Must have been a big moment for him, so he definitely gave a very good, solid performance. And yeah, he couldn't do anything about the goal that was scored, so you can't really hate on him for that. But going into the back four, I'm going to start with Ben Chilwell. I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10, the very average score. I think if we conceded from any of his mistakes, he probably would have got lower. He did make 1 or 2 pretty poor mistakes. Not sure again if it was a communication error, but I do think it just seemed like he just switched off a few times. He still did make some tackles, and he still did get forward, so I'm not going to say it was a bad performance, but just with those few mistakes in his game, I think that just the base rating of 6 is probably fair enough for him. Going to the other fullbacks, Cesar Azpilicueta, I'm actually going to give it a 7 too. Would have been higher if we did keep a clean sheet, because I do think that he just showed what an absolute soldier he is, getting in the way of shots. For a free kick, he blocked that, making some good tackles. He actually, I think, was 1 versus 2 at one point against some Rennes players and came out on top. I think, considering he doesn't play that often for us anymore, he still looked like he's been playing consistently. He didn't look rusty at all, and I thought it was a very good performance from him. So a 7 out of 10 for Cesar Azpilicueta. Going to the two centre backs, going to give Kurt Zouma a 6.5 out of 10. I thought it was a good performance. I do think the Rennes striker, can't remember his name, did not necessarily cause Zouma issues, but did make it a challenge for Zouma. Both guys were big guys, and they were sort of battling for the ball. Was able to get maybe a shot or two away, not from great positions though. So I do think Zouma did his job. I just wouldn't say he stood out as much as maybe he did in some other games, but it was still a very decent performance from him. He would have got higher obviously if we kept the clean sheet, and yeah, I think he played well. I thought he played fine. Just nothing to necessarily write home about, I suppose. Thiago Silva, however, I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10 now. I'm not sure if some people will think that's maybe too high because we didn't keep a clean sheet, but I just thought that he was really a reason why we maybe didn't concede more. Just his experience really showed in this game, in my opinion. He sort of was already running back to cut out some chances. He was delivering some good headers away. He was doing some good communication. He covered for Chilwell as well once or twice. I thought it was still a very good centre-back performance despite us conceding the 1 goal. So I think he does deserve to maybe get the highest score from our defenders. So I think a 7.5 out of 10 is well deserved from him. Getting to the midfield, I'm going to give Jorginho a 7 out of 10. Thought, again, for someone that doesn't play loads, he did look decent. I mean, maybe, the midfield did have to change at some point because he was maybe getting ran past a few times towards the end. But to be honest, I do think that he sprayed passes really well. He controlled the game very well, especially in the first half, I thought. And yeah, I just thought that he's looked good, and he's a perfect depth player to have. He can come in for these types of games and control the play. So I do think that he did do quite well. Kovacic, I'm going to give a 6.5, same as Zouma. Again, just didn't notice him too much. I do think there was a couple of good sort of runs that he did, but also he did get dispossessed a couple of times. So it was an okay performance, something to write home about. He had a shot which didn't go anywhere near the goal, yeah, I don't know. I thought it was fine. I just don't think that it was as good as our other midfielders. Definitely didn't notice him as much. Mason Mount's going to get a 7.5 out of 10. His assist was immaculate. He was pressing, he was getting the ball back, he was doing some quick play. Just a very good performance from him. I do think that he got tired towards the end of the match, but that's to be expected. I do think that, or I was surprised that he did play or start in this match, as he has obviously started consistently for a lot of games. But and he's probably going to start against Tottenham as well. But we do have a bit of a gap between this and the Tottenham game, and also what I'm hearing is the Chelsea players are actually going to have a day off on today, I believe. So I do think that he will hopefully be back and fit for the Tottenham game. And yeah, his assist was absolutely immaculate, so you really have to give it to him. And I do think that it was a good, solid performance from the young Englishman. Going to the front three, Timo Werner's going to get a 5.5 out of 10. And I don't even want to really blame him, because I do think he was fatigued, and I don't think he should have played the whole 90 minutes. However, with that said, he did miss a chance that he definitely should have scored at the start of the game. And his bacon was saved at the end in the 90th minute when his shot was saved, but it fell back to Giroud, who headed it in. If Giroud wasn't there to head that ball in, we probably would have been ragging on Werner a little bit more in this game. So I think Giroud did save him a little bit. I don't think it was awful. And Werner, I think this is the thing, he's going to be frustrating because he's going to get a lot of opportunities, and the reason he's going to get a lot of opportunities is because of his movement. He gets into great positions, he makes great runs as well, and is decent on the ball. Maybe not the best creatively, but he shouldn't be a winger really anyway. But yeah, just finishing wasn't on point today, and I think there will be some frustrating games of him, especially this season. But I wouldn't say it was an awful performance. So I think 5.5 out of 10. He should have come off a bit earlier, but that's not down to him. That's down to the manager. Callum Hudson-Odoi going to get a 7.5. after he scored the goal, maybe he wasn't as loud, but I still think he made some good. I think it was actually his cross, I believe, that fell to Werner right at the start of the game, where Werner did miss it. So that was a great chance he created. I think he delivered some good crosses. I think he made some good runs. We were seeing a bit more of that explosive energy from Hudson-Odoi. And I'll tell you what, that was a really composed finish that he did to score the first goal. With someone who maybe has the media in his head and maybe hasn't been played that much, I do think that doing a finish like that is very impressive, and it's very good for him to have 2 goals now in the Champions League. And I believe this season he's got 3 goals for us so far, which is actually pretty decent if you ask me, from him so far, considering maybe how much he's played and all of that. So I think 7.5 is fair enough. Tammy Abraham, I'm actually going to give it a 7 out of 10. Now, he didn't really have any opportunities that I can really remember, but the reason that I'm giving him a 7 out of 10 is because I think his link-up was still good, but also just I really noticed his defensive work, him getting back, covering, him defending the set pieces, the corners and the free kicks. I think his defending was really crucial at some points to us not conceding. So I think that whilst I maybe wouldn't give him a 7 in terms of how he went going forward, I think what he did defensively really just shows how much he's developed all around and how his game is just constantly growing. His build-up play, his defensive work, really just turning into a more complete player by the day. And 7 out of 10 is what he is going to get from me. If I go to the bench, I'm actually going to get some different ratings. I'm going to give Reece James and Kai Havertz a 6. Didn't really have time to do much. Havertz, like I said, didn't really light anything up when he came on. Reece James came on right at the end. I'm going to give Ziyech and Kante both 6.5s. I think Kante's energy, even though we conceded after he came on, I think his energy was probably crucial to how we did come back and actually score the second goal. He was everywhere like he usually is. Bringing him off the bench is really just a bit of a cheat code, to be honest. Ziyech did create, I believe, 2 good chances when he came on as well, so I think that a 6.5 rating for him is fair, trying to get in the game, trying to help us win. Giroud's going to get a 7.5 because he did his job as a sub. He came on, he scored the winner, he won some good fouls as well. And hopefully he stays with us for the whole of the season, because I do think he has a place in this team, like Lampard said. And I do think that obviously other players can get injured as well, like Abraham and Werner. So I think he definitely will be needed. But a 7.5 for him from a substitute appearance. And he did very well and can be proud of his performance. But if I'm going to now go on to my player of the season point scoring system, I'm actually going to change it slightly as to what I've got in front of me now that I think about it. I'm going to give 2 players 1 point. I'm going to give 3 players 2 points. Now, the reason I'm not going to give anyone 3 points is just because I think for large periods of that game we were switched off and no one was really that impressive. If we kept the clean sheet, I actually think that a defender would have probably got the 3 points, like Thiago Silva, but because we did concede, that does change the ratings a little bit. I'm going to give 1 point to Azpilicueta and Thiago Silva, as we did concede a goal, but I still think that they battled really well and maybe prevented us at points from conceding even more. I think that they really showed their experience and just their leadership in the game, especially when maybe someone like Chilwell wasn't on their finest form. I'm going to give, though, the 2 points to 3 players. They're going to be the 2 goal scorers, Callum Hudson-Odoi and Olivier Giroud, obviously both crucial to us getting the win, and also Mason Mount for that outrageous assist he got for Callum Hudson-Odoi, and really just showing why he's thriving in the 8. And I tell you what, all 3 of those players have had their fair share of media criticism in their own ways, and talk about whether they should leave, whether they should be playing for the team. So I think that all 3 of them really showed their professionalism in this game and their quality as well. So those are going to be my player of the season point scoring ratings. As you can see on the screen how they are tallying up so far. Plenty of the season to go, and hopefully plenty of more Champions League games as well. But that is going to be my review / recap, guys. If you did enjoy, leave a like, comment down below your player ratings and your thoughts on the game as well. I'll be hitting you guys up with my Tottenham preview this weekend as well, so do keep an eye out for that, or even check out some of my other series like my FPL series or my FIFA 21 and West Ham career mode series as well. I do hope you guys have a nice day, and I'll see you next time.